Today we are here in our Instagram live, which is a quick brief session about what was the thought process behind the exhibition and how did our curators Shalu and Laura end up doing such an amazing and so interesting exhibition, I'll say. Shalu, would you like to say something? Would you like to start with some initial thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm glad that you people have joined us for this session where you will be meeting me and Laura. Actually, some issue happened and Laura could not join the session. Otherwise, we both have been there along with Vikas. So, our ongoing online exhibition, Desire Without Apology, it's a solo show of Shelly Gupta. And before I begin, I want you all to answer something or maybe just think about it while this session is ongoing. Have you ever felt something deeply but didn't know how to express it? Or have you ever hidden a part of yourself because you felt it like you would be misunderstood or judged by someone who is around you, or wondered why certain desires are accepted and certain desires are not, and also that differs between the genders? Because I
Yes.
think questions are personal, but they are universal.
Yeah, and I think that's a very important question which you asked because this will give opportunity to our viewers who will be looking at the exhibition to introspect and see what exactly happens when they think about it, right? So I
Yeah.
would like to know more about how did you came to this theme of connecting a segment of society which is now completely marginalized, right? To this theme of theme where you are showcasing Shelly Gupta's work.
Yeah, actually, this tension between what we feel inside and the world which allow us to express. I mean, this is something which even Shelley Gupta is trying to show through her works. And we have taken a segment of a society which has already experienced this thing in history. Because we think, if we think about it historically, women bodies have been rarely neutral spaces. They have been always where society or the or any political agendas take place, and they have been always controlled, defined, and moralized. And I guess all would agree that this isn't something new, because there is a historical echo that often comes to mind. Like in 18th to 19th century in North India, there were a section of women known as the wives. They used to be very highly trained artists in poetry, dance, and culture. They were basically cultural bearers. But something happened and they were like marginalized, and they were diminished and were uh, labeled as being prostitutes. This happened during a cultural refinement process when the colonial regime came to India. And at first, they held social and economical agency where they used to control their own lives and they had autonomy. But during the colonial rule, their identities were reduced and their artistic authority, it was overshadowed, and like a lot of rules were imposed on their bodies and labels were being put on them. And later, when the nation was getting constructed, the motherly figure, like viewing India as a mother figure, it came up, and the image of purity and morality was being linked to women. So the art forms, these tawayafs, which they were trying to preserve, and but these very women were like pushed to the boundaries, and they were pushed out of these narratives. But we are acknowledging their contribution that has been staying, but where their autonomy is reduced. And I guess in the works of Shelley Gupta, it clearly shows that. I mean, we are not directly linking it to the wives, and but somehow it shows a section of women who have been reduced like to being subject to being objects. So that's how the shift came, and we tried to bring in a section of women which faced this firsthand. So we want people to know about them.
That's a very interesting analogy you gave. You use the word from being a subject to being an object, right? And that's a very interesting way to see how the how a human body has changed so much, right? So would you please elaborate a bit more, like being a subject to object, like how that gradual shift happened, and because how will I say, like this exhibition, we are also talking about difference between being naked and nude, which is
Mhm.
on which Shelley's practice is based, right? So could you please tell me more about these things?
Mhm. Yeah, sure. So Shelly Gupta, she is a Delhi-based visual artist, and she is like her works are being exhibited in this show, and her works are basically like current works, not all the works, but they are based on this philosophy of naked and nude. Like there is a distinction where the nude body is romanticized and seen as like an ideal body, while naked bodies are like reduced and they are not l- being looked at with the same gaze. So this distinction, it is very clear in her works, and she wants to bring the attention of the people to this. And when I mentioned the wives, they were being reduced from being subject to object. And there we can also see that they were being reduced from like there is a shift where they were nude figures before, but they were reduced to naked, and this shift. And through this whole exhibition, through the works of Shelley, we are trying to reverse this process where the women who are reduced from nude to naked, they are being restored to their nude position. And it is all symbolically, and where nude word, it symbolizes a figure which has the authority where she can express her desires fully and lives in her own body very confidently. On the other hand, the naked bodies are where like society or people around them, they impose their own beliefs where they are not able to express themselves clearly, where they are not accepted as they are, where their desires are labeled as something impure and immoral, and where their desires are not considered as natural. So, this is the distinction which Shelley wants to create between these figures. Like, naked are also a form of body, like a representation. So every body in its natural form, it's beautiful, and everyone must accept themselves as they are. So that's what we are trying to create through this exhibition.
Is it right to say when you said how will I say, like, is it fair to say that being naked is just the perception and being nude is just the perception? It's all about the placement and the situation where the human body is being placed, right? When it is in front of patrons, it becomes something to appreciate,
Mhm.
right? Just like muse of an artist, right? Or when it's on the roadside, right? It becomes something to be ashamed of.
Yeah, I mean that's how people think about it, and that needs to be changed. Like putting women in the categories as they want and whenever they want. Like if they want something, if they want to romanticize them, like as you mentioned that muse of an artist, so for some time you can just make them the nude figures where you romanticize them, you idealize them, and when you don't want them, you just reduce them to being naked, where you don't really respect their feelings or like don't consider them as equal to you, and just merely reducing them and not acknowledging their desires or anything, like they have their own lives which they want to live on their own terms, and you don't accept them as they are. But it's on all on the perception of people, like they just try to shift everything as they want and don't want to give the autonomy to the women. But here we are, it's not about the whole thing or in general where we are just talking about what women want or what in the society they have the status. We are not talking about that. But this exhibition is about the desire, the sexual desire which women have, and we want people to acknowledge it, because men having desires, it's like a universal thing. People accept it, people know it. But when a women have the sexual desires, people don't acknowledge it. Like they seem it as a immoral and unnatural thing, but it is not. And that's what we and Shelley agree to, and what we want this issue to bring into light to the people to acknowledge.
Someone commented very beautifully, like to see them as themselves rather than anything else. That's so true. Because we always try to put filters on people so that
Mhm.
they can fit in our perspective and our vision, right? And
Mhm.
when we remove those filters, all of a sudden, all these emotions become so raw for us to understand. So it makes sense. But okay, because it's a very short session, right? And I love talking about it, but I want to cover some very important things. So I was looking at the selection of artworks, right?
Mhm.
Amazing selection of works. So how did you guys selected these works, and how did you created that narrative? Because I was there in the opening, and I heard the story you guys told, right? Those you guys have missed, please go to our YouTube channel and see that video. It's a must watch. So please tell me a bit more about the selection process and the narrative which each artwork says.
Okay. I guess Laura is missing this session and now she's trying to join the comments.
That's interesting. At least she is there with us.
Yeah. So the basic idea me and Laura came up with that is that uh, the idea that the body, emotion, and desires are not something, they are not the things that requires any justification.
Hmm.
And the shame isn't something we are born with, but it is something which people impose on us, and like the society condition us like that to feel shame about certain things. And when we had a conversation with Shelley, like the initial conversation while we were curating this exhibition, she also bring few things to light, like women. I mean, they should agree to being like what they are. They must accept them as they are. They must acknowledge that they have certain feelings if they feel something about it, even if it is sexual desires. And they should not feel ashamed of it because the society wants them to. And because the society doesn't acknowledge it, that doesn't mean the things does not exist. So that was the main issue, and we chose a few artworks. There are few series of it, uh, two artworks from Caged series, two artworks from the Unclothed Desires. One is Naked Beauty, and the other two are Restless and Outburst. And these narratives are somewhat weaved in a storytelling way. Like they are not just randomly placed and randomly choose, but they tells a story in themselves. So at first, the two artworks are from the Cage series, where it shows a domestic setting where women are seen to limit themselves. Like they are put into a domestic space and they should limit themselves only there. You will see a naked, should I say, a nude female body. in a domestic setting, uh, where she is majorly defined by the household works she do, and into those four walls. And once you move out of it, uh, like you liberate yourself. That's what the story is about. But there are different emotions in between before you liberate yourself, and there is a state of being restless where you bottle up a lot of emotions in yourself, and you take it in, like you keep it in within yourself. Like when society stops you from expressing yourself, you bottle up a lot of emotions, and that there comes a state of restless where you get so restless because you have so much inside you which you can't express in front of anybody else, and you really don't know like if it is the right thing or not, and you are not confident in yourself. This is the second stage, and you reach to third stage where the outburst happens, when you can't take it anymore, and all the bottled up emotions and everything which is inside you, it comes out abruptly because you can't hold it any longer. So this is our fourth artwork, Outburst. It is full of colors, very vibrant, and it looks like a splash because that's what it exactly shows, like all the feelings and everything, it comes out. And then there are two artworks from the Unclothed Desire, where a woman is still in a domestic setting where she is touching herself, she is loving herself. So there you can see that she has kind of liberated herself from being caged to a restless state, and then outburst. She comes out of the very constraints of the society and of her own mind. And then finally, she accepts herself the way she feels or the way she is in any kind of terms. And then she loves herself. So, this is a stage, and there are two artworks from that series. And in the final artwork, it is titled as Naked Beauty. And you will see it is a muted color, like the color palette, and there is a female body, naked female body, and in the background you will see phases of moon, and you will see sun, flowers, all botanical things. So there are all natural things which we tend to see as very beautiful. We tend to see them as an idealized form, and we appreciate them. So, and there is placed a naked female body. It's like acknowledging, like we want people to acknowledge women bodies as they are, and just like the moon's phases, we also can shift our perception of seeing women to see their desires as something like just like even the moon can't be same, it can't be like a full moon all the time, and as it changes its phases, we can also change ourselves to accept women as they are, and we can also accept them like in their own bodies, in their nude or naked form, just romanticize them, accept them. And I guess that is the final stage where we take it as like just as the all the natural elements which are present in this world, being it the moon, sun, or any botanical thing, just to see the women body as they are, as the other natural elements which exist in the world. And this is the whole storyline where a woman liberate herself from the constraints of the society and constraint of her mind, and just accept herself as she is. And through this exhibition, even as Shelley mentioned, we don't intend to bring a significant change or anything, but we want people to acknowledge it, that women in any body, like they must be accepted, and their desires should be accepted and not seen as immoral or unnatural. They haven't been expressed, they haven't been said aloud. Anytime doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I guess this is the whole gist of this exhibition and all the works.
True, true, wisely said. If it's not said out loud, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Everything exists, and we just need to appreciate it. I just can't. How will I say? I just can't. Oh, how will I say? I just can't get enough of the title, I'll say, because it says desires without apology. And the way you have explained things, it's all about desires. So,
Mm-hmm.
without apologies, is there a metaphor in it? Like when you say desire without apology?
Yeah, I mean, some people might take it as a metaphor or some like, but I mean, to acknowledge a woman's desire and to make them feel like immoral, because we don't want women, because it's only about women, like the desires which they feel or which they have, they must accept it and take it, and like without any apologies or seeking any kind of guilt within themselves. They don't need people's recognition, they don't need any acceptance from the people outside or from the society. If they feel it, that means it exists for them. And that is the whole point, like desire without apology. You should not be apologized for what you feel, what the desires you have, or anything like that. Not just sexual desires, but any desire which women have. And just feel it and just accept it without any apology. Doesn't matter if the society allows it or not. It's about yourself and your life.
That's very true. That's very true. Being like I'll say like first step of healing or first step of being happy is to accept who you are,
No,
right? And I
actually.
think because of it might be just my perspective. So please say if I'm wrong, right? Like because media has influenced us so much in terms
Mhm,
of ideal women, right? That ideal women idea where women should be like this, women should do this, women should do that, women cannot do this, women cannot do that. So
mhm,
that made certain stereotypes,
mhm,
or made some perception in people's mind, like is it right or is it not? Okay, me being a male, loving myself, uh, it's just his desires coming out. His youth is sprouting, right? Being a female's doing it. Oh, why you are doing it? Is it everything all right? This is not normal. Girl should not do this. So, what's your take on it? I don't know, like what I want to say in it, but it's interesting to see your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's majorly that it's like making a move through the world without shrinking parts of yourself and shrinking what you feel and desire. I think if men accepts it openly, if because men have been like that since centuries, since ages. But for women, it has always been like a fight. In some centuries, they have been like very dominating in their own fields, and they have been accepted because there has been matriarchal societies. So it's not like that it is something new for them, but the world has always been like pushing them backwards, and they just try to restore it again and again. And this has been happening, and I guess in history it has been repeated multiple times, as it has been happened to the wives also. And it doesn't end with them. We as a women, we are also experiencing it now in the 21st century. But I guess it's not that we have to fight a way through it, but just, I guess, if we accept ourselves, if we accept other women, like they also have some desire, and not diminishing it like, I mean, it's unnatural, or you should not think like that. You can't have the desires like men have. You can't talk or speak openly about them. I think the stigma around this should be removed, and if we as a women collectively try to support, we can just make through it.
Do you think this exhibition will be a starting point where where these kind of conversations will start happening.
Yeah, I mean, we really want people to come and talk about these things openly. Like, go explore the exhibition, explore the works, and if you have any doubts or if you have your insights, your views, please share it with us because we would love to hear about it. We would love to discuss about it, and we will be having two more sessions while this exhibition is running. So the session will be happening on 1st of March, where you will be meeting the artist Shelly Gupta, and on 10th there is a curatorial walkthrough with me and Laura, the my partner, curator in this exhibition. So yeah, we want you people to come and share your views because this can be a starting point where, I mean, I haven't heard people like, not people but women talking about their feelings and desires very openly. So it is seen as a like very secret topic to talk about. But if we
Taboo.
come forward
Yeah.
and talk about it, I guess we can then talk about it more openly in spaces and groups. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on. Sorry.
No, no, that's the only thing which I want to say.
Yeah. So these sessions will be happening on Google Meet. And if you follow us on social media or you have subscribed to our newsletters, you'll receive booking links free to attend for everyone. So please just book your seats and make sure you become part of this conversation. And again, there will be ample of opportunities to connect with curators, artists, and if you have any doubts, feel free to message or call, message us, not call. Yeah, so message us or DM us or like commenters, and we'll be more than happy to respond to any of the queries. And please just join us. Go online, visit our exhibition at artlune.com. Pop-up will appear. Click on that. It says Design Without Apologies. And you'll see those amazing works which our amazing curators, Laura and Shalu, have worked a lot for. Right? So I think we'll say goodbye today. And please comment us if you have any doubts or queries, and we'll be happy to take on.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I'll see you guys on 1st of March within like 7, 8 days.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Okay. See ya. Thank you. Thanks a lot,
Thank you.
Shalu. Thanks a
Thank you.
lot. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Bye.
Bye.